Hello, fifth and sixth grade artists. It's really good to see you this week. What happened this last week was a great week. For the first time, I had a bunch of students find my email and send me pictures. So to those of you who sent me your pictures, I can't even tell you how it made my day, made my week. It was the best experience to just hear from people that I don't even know and to see the pictures you're drawing. It's great. And I love to see what you guys are able to do. I'm so impressed by the work. So here's my email address for anybody who doesn't want to have to go searching for it. It's right here, maggie.herbst@stromanschool.com, not .edu, not .org, it's .com. So please send me some more drawings. Today we're going to do a final project, and it's like the first of two final projects. So you're going to get another final project to do, but this is sort of my final project for you, and then you get to pick a final project of your own. But in our final project today, we're going to be drawing some portraits, and they're based on the history and the work of one of my favorite artists, somebody I've really enjoyed in my many years of studying art. And he's sort of a unique character. He's one of those guys who kind of died young, and but in his short amount of life, he painted a lot of really incredible pictures, mostly portraits that really stand out. He did some sculpture, and he was kind of a tragic character in his own life. So let's take a look. His name is Amedeo Modigliani. That's a funny word. Try to say that. Okay, I'm going to say it first. Modigliani. Okay, let's try it again. It's one of those good ones that's fun to read. The G is silent. So it's like Modigliani, but there's no G in there. So you just say Modigliani. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that a great word? Maybe that's part of the reason why I like him. I'm a word lover too. Okay, it's how you get to be an ELA teacher and an art teacher at the same time. So the norms for our art class before we get started: find a space that's your own. Headphones help, music helps, just carving out a little niche so that you have a space. Don't seek out perfection. This is the perfect project for not looking for perfection. I promise you. Your mistakes are actually a thing called serendipity. So work with them. Don't work against mistakes. Work as long as you like. We have plenty of time. This is not like we're rushed to get out of class. And engage with your work. So put yourself into your work and persist, right? When you hit a rough spot, you just persist. You keep going, and you make it to the end. This is art. We anticipate mistakes. We respect the creative process, and we try until we are satisfied. Okay, this is the meat and potatoes of today. These are some portraits by this artist, Modigliani. And some of the things, now these, if you look at these pictures, they look really realistic on one hand and really not realistic on the other hand. Some of these features like the nose or the teeny lips or the chin are kind of exaggerated. The ears, right? This would not, if I saw a person that looked just like this, it might be might feel a little creepy. Again, she looks really realistic in some ways, but then of course her neck and her body are very stretched out. And he did at some point in his career draw and paint characters very realistically. So this sort of unclear realism is not a mistake. He did this intentionally. Again, here we have some of these pictures where on the left, you have this boy who's sitting again, a long face, a long body, sort of very stylized features. And over on the right, you have a woman who's got, you can see those eyebrows bend right into her nose, and her lips are way down at the bottom. She hardly has any chin at all. And again, a very, very long neck, a necklace, even her hand, right, feels really long. Here, one of the features, if you look at the girl on the left, again, the same stylized features, very long nose, very long face. But here in her eyes, there's sort of this vacant look. No eyeball was drawn in or colored in, and sort of has like an empty feeling, empty look or an empty feeling. Whoops. And she almost feels like she's floating a little bit because of that, her, like she's almost alien or something. Here, there is an eyeball in this one, but again, look at this face and how elongated that nose is. Clearly not a realistic nose. And yet it does have some feeling of realism. Very tiny mouth, very stylized hair. And this is my last group of pictures of his. Again, now this is a little bit later in his career. You see the long limbs, extremely long neck, extremely long nose, her eyes very close together, her mouth very small. On the right-hand side, you have her eyes are kind of off balance. They're not quite symmetrical. The nose, again, very long. The face, very long. The neck, very long. The hair even feels sort of drawn down. So these are kind of the portraits that we're mimicking a little bit today. What we're going to do is inspired by his work. So our objective for today is that we're going to create a Modigliani portrait using contour, line, and color techniques. Now here is the review. These are all of the things that we can employ while we're coloring our picture. So we had 5 colored pencil techniques. We had the sharp tip coloring, the cross hatching, color blending, line gradients, and pencil shadings, right? That was a couple weeks ago, and we studied all the different ways that you could use colored pencils. And then we went into color theory and the ideas of how you can create secondary colors by using your primary colors. You could create color blends. You can use opposite colors to create shadows and to make different shades of brown. That we'll employ today too. And then last week, if you didn't get to see last week, we used contour lines to create this shape, something that looks like it actually has relief. Even though it's flat, it does have the appearance that it is a textured or bumpy surface. So we're going to use contour lines to show the shapes of things. So now it's your turn. So let's get started. So here I have a half a sheet of paper, and I'm just right about in the middle and making a giant U. And about where, I kind of look at about that as a face. I'm going to put the eyes right, maybe kind of in the middle of that U. 2 almond-shaped eyes. It's just a curve up and a curve down. So it's, and then I put 2 eyeballs in by putting curved lines in that way, and then I draw a U from one corner of the eye to the other. Just a sort of an oval and a line through that, and the ears coming right out from those corners of the eyes. Now, I want to put hair on there, but I have those lines are a little too long for me, so I'm just going to erase a couple of them just above that hairline, and then I'm just going to kind of scribble some hair really very loosely in here. And that's simple for the face. Now 2 lines for the neck, and then a curved line on the bottom to show that that's a cylinder. And I'm going to join some shoulders up there. Just kind of assume where those go through. You know, hop my pencil and keep drawing. It's like a stop and hop. And then I'm going to draw a few lines in the background. This is not such a big deal. I'm just kind of guessing where I might put a line. And I just draw through. And then draw one out the side. Draw another one on an angle out the side. It doesn't really matter where. And then that's complete. So I'm going to take just a little moment to draw a window in the background, 2 lines up, 2 lines off to the side. And now I'm ready to go over everything with my permanent marker. It helps to use a pencil first because you may have things that you want to erase or want to redo. And you don't have to go exactly over your pencil line because your pencil line will erase. And so I just kind of trace the lines that I can get. And you can see that I'm not always going exactly over my lines, which is fine. The ones I like, I kind of keep. The ones I don't, it's not a big deal. So I missed that part. I'll just erase it at the end. I'm going to add a couple of eyebrows. And I'm drawing my neck. And remember, Modigliani had long necks on his people. So these really long, uncharacteristically long necks are okay. Now I'm going to draw this line and I'm just going to make sure that I get right next to that, right next to his shirt. So I want to make sure that it goes all the way to the shirt. And then draw in my window lines. These don't have to be perfect or straight or anything. And that's it. So now I'm ready to erase a few of those lines, and then I can get started coloring. So you can see how everything erases well enough just to get us started. So just a few more lines down at the bottom. And most of those aren't going to really matter, but I'm just kind of quickly getting them out of the way. So I'm going to start another one of these drawings, and I'm going to quickly draw it, the eyes. Again, I'm going to do a couple things differently. I could either leave the nose as an L or loop it. I'm putting in eyeballs and ears. And for this I want to do a little bit different. I want to do a girl, so I'm going to do a hairline at the top, neck, and then just pull her hair around. 2 bumps for a lip, 2 curves for a lip, and a hairline at the top. Shoulders down. I'm going to kind of fix that hairline up there. And put in a wall, put in an angled line across it. And I'm ready to go with my permanent marker. So, make the face, draw in my eyes, quickly get the nose and mouth. And for my hairline, I'm going to come right in there, draw all the way down. Again, just keep quickly getting this in, everything I can, just cover all the pieces. And there we go. Now it's time to color in. And this is a little trickier, so we're going to slow it down again. Erase all the lines. There aren't so many on this one, so just really quickly get them out of the way. So for the hair, I'm going to make sure that I get contour lines in. I really want these contour lines to just like we did in the other project, I want them to shape the way we feel the curve of that head. So I'm going to follow the curve of my hair. I'm going to follow the lines of the hair that I'm in, just like I did with our last week's project. So this is what these lines are really important for. And I can do this with not just one color brown, but I can add in a couple of other colors of brown. We know how to make brown now by using things like complementary colors. So look at the nice contour that I'm getting by curving my lines as I color in. And so these lines don't have to disappear like we want them to disappear with sharp tip coloring. Now notice also that I'm not coloring back and forth. I'm continuing to color following the line on both sides as it goes down. And so I'm following the line that the hair, like where it would fall. So here I just curve and I try to match those lines until I kind of blend into the other line. And keep drawing this way until all of those lines are pretty well filled in. And you can go kind of quickly, but what you don't want to do is color back and forth the other way. That's a no-no. So continue creating those lines, and they don't have to be perfect. They could be really messy, but now you see that this really great shaped hair. So let's come in with some other colors, maybe red and green, and try to brighten sort of the color of the hair up. So I'm going to speed it up so you can see that I am going to color in with a number of different colors kind of quickly and add to the red, and then bring in some green, continuing to follow these lines. So you see now the green darkens that red and it pulls it in, really nicely. Now you can see a little bit of green in the hair, which we don't want entirely, so I'm going to come back in with a little bit of red and try to sort of darken that, brown that out. And the more we do this, you can see the difference in the hair. You can see how it really comes out. Blue now will even darken that color more. And coloring all the way around, you can see I get this really nice dark brown color. And you can actually keep coloring until you get a black looking hair. But we're not going to do that. We're going to just bring in some orange to red out the blue. Brighten up the blue a little bit, and we have this really interesting now deep color. I bring in yellow at the end, always kind of to brighten it up. So I'm going to come in and now color the skin. I want a brown, and I'm just going to come in with a sharper tip and go mainly around the edges, trying to darken those. They're a little more shaded than others. So I'm going to just go in slowly and try to get a nice even color. I'm going to come in with my sharp, I'm going to keep the tip as sharp as possible as I go, but then I'm going to come in and cross hatch it. So I'm going to keep my lines going the same direction as I color the whole face. And this will take a while, so I'll speed it up so you can see. And so we're just going to quickly come in and watch my lines as they keep going the same direction, and then I can come in and cross hatch area by area. So this one I'm coming in on a diagonal, everything that I've colored so far. Okay, so now I have two lines in two directions. I'm going to come in a third direction just to see how it looks, and now I'm going to keep that direction going all around the rest of the entire face, ears, and now I'm going to cross hatch this section going up and down. Okay, and now I'll do some up and down over here, cross hatch this section, and then the neck. So I'm just going to come over and even everything out. All right, now time for the lips. This is a little bit of a detail that I always focus a little bit more on. I like the lips to always look nice and pink and full. And in order to do that, I color the top lip a little bit darker. And the reason you do that is because it's usually in more of a shadow. So the bottom lip sticks out a little bit more. I'm going to bring in a little bit of green just to accentuate that shadow, make it a little bit darker, not so so much of a dark color, but a deeper hue, and that's what that green will give me. So there are my lips. The top one again a little bit darker, and I like it. Now that we've got all of these details sort of hatched out, I'm going to start in with the eyes, and let me just take a brown color around both of the eyes. It's hard to see with my coloring, just kind of draw on the inside, and then I'm going to add the pupil, which is the dark part of the eye, and I'm just going to circle in the middle. And a few lines, giving it a little bit of color and detail. So that it's a little more interesting. So I'm going to take a little bit more time with this. I've got a black in here, and I'm going to kind of go down and put some shadows, some contouring shadows into the hair, just to make it a little bit darker rather than so bright. I'm just going to quickly go through and just shadow out some of those contours. So it's not a lot, it's just a really quick way to drop in some shadow. So I'm again following the exact same lines. I'm not changing anything as far as those lines go. So just making sure that those lines follow is the only thing you really need to do on the hair. Always color in the same direction, because you can see when you don't. So I'm going to speed up the video because it's just about time to put in the background. So I'm going to do this by using my sharpening, my colored sharpenings, and rubbing those in. And you can go back to other videos to see that done, but I really would like you to just see it in a quicker way here. Alright, so I'm going to put down some green pencil shavings all the way down on one side. Add in a little bit of dark blue, and those two colors blend really nicely, so I don't have to worry. And I'm just going to rub them in, and I'm doing it lightly on one side of the wall, and I can move some of that over. Remember, I don't have to be so careful now that the hair is really colored in. And then I'll do it a little bit darker on this area because the walls are going in different directions. Kind of just, making one of those areas a little bit darker. And there you go. So now we can come in and color her shirt. I've chosen an orange. I could color it in a bunch of different ways, but here I'm going to do pretty much contour lines again. And I'm going to follow the slope of her shoulder and then sort of flatten out as I come around, and then again meet up with that curve on the other side. So then I'm going to contour around her neck to show that she's sort of a cylinder, and I'm going to do this really quickly just to get that in, and then I can bring in some other colors, maybe other oranges or reds or yellows to brighten those colors up. So this is almost a combination of contour and crosshatch, because I'm getting the texture of maybe a shirt or a sweater in here too. I'll just speed it up a little bit and add in some reds, some reddish orange, some yellow, until I kind of fill in all of those pieces. And there you go. Get me something in the window and some floor, and she will be complete. So we're going to speed this up and get some floor in, a little bit in the window, so there's something of interest outside, and a little sky blue should do the trick. And we're done. She is complete. A couple eyebrows and maybe some shadows in the ears, and here is our first portrait done. So bringing back our second portrait, I'm going to speed it up so you can see me color this entirely again. So I'm going to go really quickly. These contour lines are going to follow his curves of his hair. Add in some brown, some orange, some brown. Of course, we'll get in a little bit of blue in there. And dark navy blue and black. And that's pretty good for hair. Let's color in his skin. We'll do some of the light cross hatching. I've got a lighter brown here, so we'll see how that turns out. And then contour the shirt. Same as I did before. And it's much easier when you do it, when you show it quickly. I'm going to contour that all the way around the neck and then keep going all the way around, following that curve as long as I can. And put in some shavings for the wall. I can even add another color here, maybe some lavender. Get some purpley hues in there. A little bit of violet. A little bit of a floor, quickly. Hurry up and get those eyes in there before I forget them. And then something out the window. Make this a little more sophisticated, maybe. So finish that up. And then we're going to finish his mouth. Remember to keep that upper lip darker. That's pretty important here. So, all right. He's almost done. I think maybe a couple little, you see there's a little bit that little blue that I got in there I can easily erase. And just to clean up the drawing is not such a big deal now. You can come in and clean up and recolor things as you need to do them. That's not so hard. All right, and then we're going to just speed it up and finish him up so you can see all of our pictures now together. So here we are. This is the result of both of these drawings together. They're great. This is a great project to do. You can, as you can see, you can do multiple versions of this, and you can add these. You can add different details to these. I've done a number of versions. I did a separate version on a larger piece of paper. You could do them on smaller pieces of paper. And then you can even add different shadows. So you can see now here I have shadows and highlights in the cheeks and in the jaw and underneath the chin. And you can get a much different look and really brighten up the hair, shadows on the neck, and even something more interesting out the window if you'd like. So there are a ton of variations, and I hope you enjoy doing this project. It really is, you know, here we are. We did it, and congratulations. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed everything. I hope your drawings really turn out, and I hope you make a couple of them. These are ones that you could do multiple times. And once you start getting them going, you can actually start looking at people and trying to copy just one or two features. You know, maybe look at somebody's nose, and you look at my nose, I have kind of this funny bump right in the middle, right? You could draw a nose maybe with a little bump in the middle, right? Or maybe you could draw eyes that are shaped a little bit differently or have a little point in the center. Or maybe you could just copy the shape of somebody's upper lip and their bottom lip. Just pick up a couple things, maybe just copy their hair, right? You can do all of those things. You could just do one or two of them, add that to a drawing, draw your mom, draw your dad, draw your grandma, draw your grandpa, draw your cousin, draw your grown-up at home, whatever you are inspired to draw, draw your teacher. Maybe you should ask first. I don't know. You don't have to ask. You could draw me. So anyway, my friends and I are going to sign off, and I hope you guys have a great week, and I really, really, really hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.